Hey guys, it's a little late in the day to be doing a video. Unusual for my upload schedule. That's because I slept in. Yesterday, I did stay stay up, and then almost right after I was done with recording the video, I just went to take a nap for about 3 hours. So, I got this. Now, what I'm going to be reacting to today is Liberal Women Are Accidentally Dating Trump Voters by Amala Ekpunabi. I hope I said that right. I always get her. I don't know if I'm always getting her name wrong or right. I honestly don't know if I am doing it either. But let's get into the video. It's a decently sized one, so let's see.
Had a great first date with a guy, then he admitted he voted for Trump. Apparently, guys, this is happening a lot. Liberal women are accidentally going on dates with MAGA voters, or they're coming right out of the gate and asking these men, who did you vote for? And
Who asked that? Who asked that on the first date, dude? Oh my gosh. Who asks who you voted for on the first date? Like, politics shouldn't even be at the forefront.
waiting and judging based on the answer. Now, apparently some men are fumbling around who they voted for, and I gotta say it, fellas, if you voted for Trump, say it with your chest. Let's talk about it.
I do. I mean, I'm wearing the MAGA hat. I voted for Trump, or I would have if I had voted. I didn't vote because I didn't register early enough. Which, by the way, I think there should be on-site registry. I really do. I think there should be a potential for on-site registry. And it's not that hard to do. Let's be honest. It's not that hard to do.
About it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Today we're talking about a phenomenon that I keep seeing pop up on my feed when I'm on social media, and that is how politics is infiltrating the dating scene. We all know that dating is a hellscape.
Yeah, it isn't just infiltrating Amala. It's been infiltrated. It's been infiltrated for years. Okay? That's the thing. It probably started creeping in around 2016. Let's be honest.
Right now, men are super lonely. Women, I guess, are lonely, but also kind of wanting to be lonely and out of relationships. And those who are going on dates are often letting politics drive the conversation. A lot of women on dating apps or in person are immediately asking men before
Again, why so fixated on politics, dude? Why so fixated? That isn't on the forefront of my mind if I ever get on a date. That's not going to be on my mind. My mind is going to be asking personal questions like, okay, exactly, what do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? It would be those sort of things. It wouldn't be, okay, who did you vote for? That's weird. That's political. That's political pickling, dude. Like, come on.
even a first date, who they voted for, and choosing that date whether or not the answer they hear is the answer they want to hear. Now, apparently some men are getting around this system by either pretending to be left-leaning or not being super open about their politics. But when they go on that first date and they get asked, who'd you vote for, they're fumbling on the question.
Yeah, I wouldn't fumble. I would just say, I didn't vote. If they okay, who would you vote for if you did vote? I would have said Trump. Right then and there, just blatantly Trump. And they'd go, oh, why? They'd probably either end the date right there and just leave. Like, I'm alright with saying I voted for Trump. I mean, there's no shame in it. There's really no shame in it.
We're gonna get into TikTok number 1, where a guy discusses this.
You guys on the side of TikTok yet where you see women go on dates with dudes who gave no indication of being MAGA, and then when they're on the date and the date's going well, the girl's like, all right, things are going really, really well, I have a question for you, and the dude starts to get squirrely.
Let's pause there for just a minute. I want to get into this.
Here's the thing, I do think this is also sort of secular. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is sort of secular and more focused on just trying to quote unquote get into her pants. I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong. Because I think these are secular men that are getting all squirrely with who they voted for. Because I am partially secular. I do watch entertainment. I watch Animaniacs. I watch The Mask. I watch a lot of pop culture stuff that has nothing to do with religion. That said, I do also think that dating and matchmaking and all that, I think that is also partial non-secularism, I guess, because it isn't separated from theology or completely. And honestly, I just think that these guys, they should just be honest. They should just be honest. Okay, I vote for Trump. Who cares? Who cares? I vote for Trump. I mean, if you're saying you care, then I'm going to say, then I'll just say, okay, we disagree on politics, so what? That's all I'd ask. I just ask, so what if we disagree on politics? Only thing we need to agree on is the Bible. That's it.
Premise of giving no indication that you are MAGA before going on a date, and I think it's largely because men are not leading with political conversations when it comes to dating. They're not going to straight off the bat ask you who you voted for, because I don't think it impacts them in the same way that it impacts the modern woman these days. And
wow, that's exactly what I said. I said exactly that my mind doesn't immediately go to politics. Am I political? Yeah, I'm political. I'm politically active. I talk politics on my feed and everything. But yeah, even I'm wearing a MAGA hat. But politics doesn't rule me. Okay, that's the thing. It doesn't rule me. And I prefer to be on Jesus' side in politics than to be on the side of a person's side. You know, I'd rather be on God's side. And right now, MAGA is the closest thing to God's side there is. That's all I think about it.
that's because women are leaning more and more left as time goes on, and they're taking that way more seriously than I think men on the other end of the spectrum, or even men who are left-leaning, are taking that question.
Well, Amala, you're getting reacted to by a male VTuber who has the mindset you're describing. Oh my gosh.
And let me go ahead and say, I have a feeling that he did lead with a little bit of conservative energy, and that's why you're going on the date. He probably gave you some masculine energy. He probably gave you some energy that says he's gonna pay, he's gonna show up, he's gonna have a good conversation.
Yeah, that's definitely not me. I'm not 100% on that. I really am not. A lot of this is cultural. It has nothing to do with the Bible. Because the Bible doesn't really say that you have to pay for the date or anything. You just And in fact, it is widely interpreted of what the male role should be. It's not cut and dry as many might think. Uh, all it states is that spiritually speaking, the man must lead. That's it. For provisions and all that, that is entirely debatable. For me, I am non-traditional in the gender roles. I am very open about that. Because I think that it is possible to have a woman who is the provider for the family and the husband is the homemaker. I think that is entirely possible. But again, that's biblical interpretation. That it isn't set. The gender roles are not set in stone except for spiritual matters. That's it.
Going to present in a way that I think underneath is conservative, but women are not registering as conservative. And they're thinking they're maybe going to get a masculine man who also voted for Kamala Harris, and that's not coming through.
Yeah, every man that voted for Kamala Harris, every one of them, it sounds like people I can bench. Okay, and I am not the physical Adonis that you think I am. Okay, I am not an Adonis whatsoever. I have a gun IRL. I have a gun. But still, if a lot of the people that vote, the guys that voted for Kamala Harris, they sound like guys that the moment I confront them, they're going into, they will run away and scream. That's the only thing I can think of.
Now, as far as the men getting squirrely and fumbling on the question, let's get into that.
Filmed where the girl's like got like her phone, so you just see her face from below, and then she's like, "Okay, so like things are going really, really well. I just have like one quick question for you. Who'd you vote for?" And bro, these dudes, the way they get so squirrely in their responses, like.
Yeah, those guys, I don't think are very confident in their stances, in their political stances. I'm confident in mine. I'm confident with saying I vote for Trump. I'm confident in saying I would vote for Trump. Because at the end of the day, who cares? Who cares?
Be proud. Be proud of who you are. Be like, yeah, dude, I voted for this. I want this. And the girl will be like, all right, bet you're not my type. I'm gonna bounce. But the way these dudes are like, well, you need to understand like where I'm coming from. Like, you know, the option.
Seriously, I wouldn't even say you need to know where I'm coming from. I just say, yeah, I voted. Yeah, I've never voted in my life, but if I had voted, I would have voted for Trump all 3 times. That would have been my stance. And if they got offended that I would do that, I would say, I just did what I thought was right. And if you disagree with it, you disagree with it. That's all I can say about it. So what else are you into besides politics? That's what I'd ask. I'd just pivot.
Were good, man, and they freak out, and these girls are just like, and dude, the way women are answering these men when they're getting all squirrely like this is a master class in patience. Because the girls, remember, the camera's like down here, and the girl's just like, and how did that make you feel? Yeah, no, I understand, yeah, and they are just letting the dude dig himself a hole, back himself into a corner. And a lot of these girls are like, on my dating profile, it says, strong, progressive values, no Trumpers, no MAGA.
Okay, let's get into that. Guys, you're gonna have to fill me in here in the comments.
Yeah, when they say stuff like that, I don't immediately try to go for them. When you are putting your political ideology and it goes against my values, yeah, I am not going to go for you. Sorry. Some people may think, well, you're just a bigot then, and I go, okay, I'm a bigot. So what? How does that explain? How does that defer my point? How does that change my mind? You can't shame people to changing their mind. I'm sorry. I mean, like, and I do like talking about the this whole exchange I had like 5 days ago against a Muslim. Because I just love that the guy constantly played armchair judge, trying to take God's spot. Meanwhile, I was just saying, okay, how did? Okay, so I ate pork. So what? That's not disobeying the Bible, specifically New Testament. Uh, he floundered on New Testament teachings, by the way. But that's a whole other conversation. I just find it funny. Uh, cause I am of the mindset, let them speak and do nothing, win. And I did nothing and won. I don't. And yeah, from the OP standpoint, he it turned it was both sides that were in the wrong, and I say you were wrong. Just look at the thread. That's what I say. That's all I say. But in the end, that person has to deal with that. Deal with what they did with God. I have no right to judge them. Praying for them though. Praying that in the future they actually do look at both sides before saying it's a both sides issue.
I can't get into the full psychology of a man here, okay? So let me know in the comments down below why this may be happening to you, why this may be happening to your homies. I can see some men just wanting to be on the date, wanting this particular woman.
Well, I'm not involved in dating. I want to be, but I am not because I'm scared. Not scared of rejection per se. It's more scared that I could potentially be framed as something I'm not. Okay, that's the fear. And also just initiating sort of fills me with deep-rooted anxiety that just freezes me up. So, even thinking about approaching a woman to ask her out, that also sort of that sort of fills me with anxiety that I can't even describe. It's literal freezing up. Basically, jman.exe stops working.
Woman being attracted to this particular woman and going, you know what? I'm not going to be too forward about who I voted for. Just because I want to go on the date, I feel like I can charm her and we can get away from the whole Trump question. Even though she placed this directly on her profile and told me she didn't want to go on a date with a Trump voter. I think there's also room for men who maybe voted for Trump and are now sitting in a space of regret. So they're letting that little piece of themselves or their past really fall to the side, going on the date and just hoping and praying that baby girl doesn't ask them who they voted for.
Yeah, this is why I don't use dating apps, because too many women are politically pickled, and also a lot of scammers and bots. Because dating apps, they want to keep making money. How are they going to keep making money if they are going to succeed in lowering the dating pool? They need all the people on dates, or have failed dates, or are trying to get dates. They need those sort of people. They need the desperate people, and that's why I don't use them, because why use them when they are just there to make money, and nobody And they have no interest in actually trying to better the people who are using their service. They have no interest in actually successfully pairing people up. And yeah, it's sad. This is why I think that dating apps should die. They should die, and we need to bring back matchmaking. At this point, we need to bring back matchmaking.
Then there's the other space of, I think, hardcore Trump voters or men who are still supporters of Trump who think, you know what, we can tackle that when we get to it, and I can either convince this woman to be a little bit more right wing, she'll come to my side, or
Yeah, my stance isn't to try to convert them politically. I don't care about politics as much. I don't care if we are politically aligned. My uh my only concern is if she's a believer in Jesus Christ. That is my only concern. And if she actually tries to follow the Bible. Because that is one of the commandments within Christianity, not to be unevenly yoked to someone else. Because I have to be yoked to a fellow believer in Jesus, and if they don't even believe in the core tenets of Christianity or even uh, believe in Jesus Christ, then there is absolutely no chance the relationship will work. And I'm stuck in a marriage where uh, it's bound to either fail or I'm going to get cheated on. And before anyone asks, okay, why wouldn't you cheat? I'd say, because I am not that guy. I am way too faithful. I would You'd literally have to frame me in order to get me in order to portray me as having an affair. I am not somebody who would cheat on somebody I truly care about.
or you're thinking that the woman is going to be a little bit more reasonable and accepting of your vote than she's actually going to be. You let me know if I'm at all right on any of those analyses of how men could be putting themselves in this situation. But it seems like what is happening is they're going on dates with particularly left-leaning women who are then filming those altercations about voting and then posting them on the internet. Now, this next one went viral. It's the one I showed you at the top of this video. Had a great first date with a guy. Mind you, this is a great first date, she says. And then he admitted that he voted for Trump. And we have to get into how this guy responds to being asked this question.
My thoughts are that you are unbelievably unique and obviously very intellectual and intelligent and communicative. And yes, I did vote for one specific person recently. And I understand that makes you uncomfortable, and I get that, and I'm not pleased with my decision.
Wait, why are you beating around the bush?
Okay. Had a great first date with the guy, then he admitted he voted for Trump. Like, what does it matter? What does it matter? Like, to me, it shows how cultish this sort of thing is. And yeah, I am referring to this whole idea that voting for Trump disqualifies you from dates. That is cultish. And I'll even acknowledge, yes, some Trump voters also have this sort of ideology. And yeah, that's cultish. That is cult-like behavior. So yeah, I call out the cults on both the MAGA and on the anti-MAGA crowds. I'll call it out on both sides. It's just it's more predominant. It's more dominant on the opposing side than it is on my side. That's the only thing. Because I am willing to discuss my political beliefs openly. And and I somehow have more of a spine than some of these quote-unquote conservative alpha types. Because I am more likely to answer the question without any sort of stuttering, any sort of uh, any sort of fumbling around, I would just say I vote for Trump. Just straight up, I would say I voted for Trump. What's the problem? That's what I'd ask. What is the problem?
No, I voted.
Wait, why are you beating around the bush? We call that an I voted for Trump sandwich. Okay, because what he did, he's like, you're unbelievably intelligent, kind, empathetic. Yeah, I voted for somebody. He can't even get the name out of his mouth. I voted for somebody. By the way, if that makes you feel uncomfortable, I totally understand and I really like and appreciate it. So he's trying to sort of sneak in.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I would have just said I vote for Trump. Just to straight up, I vote for Trump. And if but again, I won't even say I voted for Trump. I just say I didn't vote. If they ask why, I just say I didn't register in time. That's it. And if they ask, well, who would you have voted for then? I would have said Trump. Straight up, I would have said voted Trump. And here's the thing, the real thing. I will say that fully and matter of factly, dude. I was willing to tell my own mother I wouldn't vote for Trump, and she thought I was a misandrist. Or a misogynist, I should say. Misandry is different from misogyny. Oh man, that's a gaff. Oh man, but yeah, she thought I was a low key misogynist. So, so what is the worst thing that the progressive women will think is I am a sexist? Like, okay, and and what? So what? My own mother called me that. So, exactly, what is your point? What is the debate? I'm not going to try to disprove a insult. You're gonna have to prove how it sticks to me.
Who we voted for. And you know what? Come on now. Have a little bit of masculine energy, say it with your chest, and say it how you truly feel. Start off, absolutely, yes, I voted for Trump. Here's how I feel about it now. And it can be I still support him, maybe I don't support him now. I have a feeling a lot of the answer that he's giving is to sort of veil what he actually feels in regard to politics for the sake of staying on the date with this girl and for the sake of keeping her on the line here. But let's hear more.
I did. That'd be my wish.
In 2024.
Oh man, but by the way, the background noise. Oh, the background noise. Oh man. Then again, I'm not exactly someone who should be talking about background noise. I'm pretty sure my heaters are being caught by my microphone. So I don't know if I have room to talk. But still, like. This person, oh man, this is sad. This is so sad, so sad. And people like Knox will say, get married, have babies. Same with Charlie Kirk, get married, have babies. Like, okay, how? Seriously, how? Don't just say that's the solution. You have to explain how we're going to be able to do that.
Okay, then why did you just say that you didn't? That was weird.
Because I'm horribly embarrassed and intimidated by you. I'm embarrassed to.
That was like really weird.
That was. I should not have done that. I agree with that.
But yeah, when people say you get married, have babies, it's this sort of thing that I think about. When they say that, like, okay, how do we do this? How do we do this? Because it's clear that a lot of people are politically pickled right now, even in the dating scene. How are we supposed to get married and have babies if you can't even get past the first stage of who you voted for? That's the question. How are you supposed to do that? and it's just sad. Like, how are you again? How are you supposed to do this if one side is politically pickled? Again, it's the one side where it's the predominant. That's why I've been calling out only the left here. I'm not calling out the right as hard because a lot of the right leaning people are similar to me in that we will be willing to date somebody with different political opinions. So it's one of those situations where uh, it's a issue that it has a wider social problem. Because here's the thing, I would have thought I would have got I when I was a kid, I would have thought I would have had kids uh, or wife by now. Okay, when I was younger, I thought that I would have kids or wife by this stage of my life, but I don't. I'm still pretty single. I'm still living like I'm in my 20s. Um, but hopefully that woman does come around. I just think that we do need to start talking about this sort of stuff even more so. Because it's clear the media keeps saying, clear, everything is fine, guys, everything is fine. Like, everything is not fine. In fact, just recently, CNN showed state propaganda. Okay? Foreign state propaganda, but state propaganda not nonetheless. Promoting terrorism, I believe. I haven't watched it since last night, and Nux covered it, so you could watch Nux's video on that. But still, I am going to have to talk to some of the married guys and try to discuss this as a single guy. Or, in fact, I'm probably gonna have to message Nux at some point just to just to talk with him about this and try to set up a time when me and him can actually talk on stream or something, because I think me and him would actually bounce off of each other very well. And I also want to explain my viewpoint, and I'd like to ask, okay, what is the solution to this? What is the solution to this situation? Because so far, the most I can say is that would be the best solution would be if the government and the media would come out and say, we screwed up by demonizing men. We screwed up by pushing everyone away from each other. That is the only thing I can think of that would actually heal the dating scene. And even then, that is going to be a tough ask, because why would they when they are insanely politically pickled? And I'm sure there are some. I'm sure Trump and his cabinet would be willing to come out and say it, but the problem is that it would. The problem is the media is not willing to come out and say it.
You're the type of woman that is intimidating to a guy like me, in that you're very, very intelligent and few and far between. You're very few and far between.
She just laughed in his face. I will say, this does seem to be a particularly vulnerable moment for this guy. He's saying outright, I am intimidated by you. I am intimidated by your presence, your intelligence.
Dude, bro just handed her a gotcha. Bro just handed her a gotcha. Dude, that was the most beta male response I ever heard. Oh my gosh. Like, don't just say stuff like that, dude. And I'm now on the fence of saying that this was a staged recording. I'm now on the cusp of saying this is staged. Because what guy would openly say stuff like this? Dude, What's really interesting is that I am not intimidated by these sort of discussions or confrontations. However, I am more intimidated by PvP games. Like, dude, don't just admit to being intimidated by the woman you're on a date with.
And I do, at least he's saying, have regret for voting for Donald Trump. And maybe that's where he actually is. And he thought this date was going to go a little bit better once we got away from that topic. It didn't end up being the case as she posted this on TikTok. And it has 630,000 views on it. I'm going to read you some of the comments.
Yeah, Amala, I would say that TikTok is not to be trusted. Very few people actually use it. I don't use it. And I know that a good chunk of the liberal crowd pretty much is leaving because Trump's friends own it. And yeah, they forgot that Trump actually helped save TikTok. They forget that. Because Biden was actually going to shut it down. Still, this whole thing of, oh no, oh, I just saw this, septum piercing, septum, okay, now it makes sense, when I see septum piercing, I just think, okay, you are clearly mentally unwell, because here's the thing, 9 times out of 10, it's proven right. Okay, 9 times out of 10, it's proven right that they are insanely mentally ill and are politically pickled. Don't trust septum piercings, guys.
Women, of course. One writes, I divorced my husband for his vote for Donald Trump. 100,000 likes on that comment.
That is insanely sad. And they are going to have to talk to God about that when they die, because divorce, believe it or not, there's only one excuse for divorce. That is having an affair. That's it. That's the only way you can have a divorce. That's why you have to choose who you marry very carefully. Especially as a Christian, you have to choose your spouse very, very carefully.
Another person writes they don't regret their vote. They regret that it's negatively affecting their dating life.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. They don't regret their vote. They regret that it's negatively affecting their dating life. Yeah, that's fair. That's it. That is a fair regret. I mean, I have no dating life to speak of. I'm open to date once I find the right person, but for now, I'm alright with it just being single.
250,000 likes on that. We'll go on. They avidly look for left-leaning women, and I have no idea why.
I'm honestly not. I'm not avidly searching for left-leaning women. This is why I don't like. This is why I don't like the whole thing with them assuming that all guys are just avidly looking for left-leaning women. Like, most guys do not think politics. I hate to break it to you. Most guys do not think politics. especially not on the first date. Um, in fact, probably not even during dating in general. Most likely, from what I can understand, they are probably going to be politically neutral for majority of dating life. You'll have to have like you'll have to have a date at a point where you're comfortable with showing your real self. Um, outside of what you do, what you do for fun, what do you work, where you work at, stuff of that nature. Um, one, what's the I think that most people who are insanely comfortable with each other will then divulge what their political leanings are. Again, I am very open of being right leaning. In fact, I have my political compass test saved. Basically, I'm a moderately authoritarian right. I'm saying moderately because it's not on the extreme authoritarian right. Um, because, and I think the reason why I'm not the extreme authoritarian right is because I vote for, because I have no belief in racism. I don't believe in racial discrimination or anything. So that's it. And before anyone asks, what about BLM? I go, I don't agree with BLM. I think that was discussed. I think that was a false movement. It was a movement just to gain money. That's it. And I do disagree with the people like Jesse Lee Peterson, who says that it was started by a couple of fat lesbians. That is not true. That is not true. Because BLM started back in in 2015, and that was before the black lesbian women actually started to gain traction.
Voting for Trump in 2016 is bad. Voting for him in 2024 is pure evil. So a lot of strong opinions from particularly young women who are in the dating scene right now. And I have a feeling men may be running into this issue more so now than ever because a lot of dating is happening in online spaces. As far as women being engaged in online dating spaces, they're going to be far more left-leaning than anything else. Women in general just are far more left-leaning than anything else, especially young women. So men are...
Yeah, although I do find some conservative right-leaning women on my feed, even within the VTuber sphere. And yeah, I'm someone that would be willing to date one of the single ones. Problem is that they are unwilling to compromise on being the homemaker. That's the only thing. That's what's keeping me from asking any of them out, and it would not be fair to them. They want to be the homemaker. They want to be the homemaker. It would be unfair of me to try to settle down with them, and and we're trying to figure out who's going to be the homemaker, who's going to be the provider. I don't want to, and it's unfair to them, and it's unfair to me. They deserve a good Christian man that will provide for them.
Probably 9 times out of 10 building connections with women who are left-leaning and feeling the need to repress that piece of themselves and who they voted for to even just have a chance to put their foot in the door in dating the left-leaning women that they're meeting online. They're also far more likely to make a video like this on social media, sort of calling out these men and dragging them through the public square to be burned at the stake, essentially. But I think that addresses part of that comment of saying that these right-leaning men are avidly looking for left-leaning women. In some ways, maybe they are. I think there are some men who just want to get laid, and if you're just trying to get laid, a left-leaning woman is probably the one to go to. Conservative women aren't typically rocking like that. But I also think...
Yeah, this is why I'm not going to go for the left-leaning women. They're more likely to just go after a date. Hey, want to go inside and have sex? And I do go, what? Because here's the thing, I would tell them, no. No. And if they say, oh, but why not? I'll just say, because I prefer sex after marriage. I want to know you're actually going to stay around. most of the women will probably see that as a red flag. I'm not gonna lie. Most women will probably see that as a red flag. And I will say, sorry, but, I want to have kids. If I'm gonna have sex with you, I want to make sure that we are going to have a family together. And if you're not willing to do that, then you are not entitled to sex. That's my stance on it. You are not entitled to sex, because it is more than just pleasure. Pleasure is just a bonus. The point of sex is to have kids.
I think there's an element of just men simply not caring or not allowing politics to completely police every decision that they make in their lives, whereas women are far more likely to have politics be at the very forefront of virtually everything that they do in life. And I think an example that we're seeing of this right now in pop culture is actually going to take us over to reality TV, and that is the Netflix show Love is Blind. Now I'm going to show you a contestant who was on this Ohio season of Love is Blind, and she is one of, I believe, a few who said that politics was an absolute deal breaker. And when she was going into these rooms, dating different men, she was 100% leading with the fact that she voted for Kamala Harris and that if you voted for Trump, she didn't want your time.
Specifically asked everyone, like, did you vote for Trump? Are you a Trump supporter? And I talked just ad nauseum about human rights because that is such a pillar of my life and what I believe in and who I am and the people that I love. It's something that I feel very blessed to feel so strongly about because it's a great filter. And so I made that extremely clear. This is not the only man who has just straight up lied about what he believed in to gain access to me. I think that's disgusting. And I think, unfortunately, it is happening more and more.
Well, the problem is you have set an insanely high political bar. That's the problem. You set yourself up for a high political bar, and you are now surprised that suddenly guys are hiding their political beliefs. Like, you can't be surprised Pikachu face when you outright say you're not going to date a Trump supporter. You lost that right to surprise Pikachu face. Cause here's the thing. Again, politics, it shouldn't even come up in the first date. Straight up, it shouldn't pop up in the first date. Probably not even the second or the third. Because the point of having dates is to get to know a person. That's the point of dating. Get to know the person. See if you want to have kids and build a family with them and have a life with them. That is the point of dating. The point of dating isn't to just find a guy you're politically aligned with and then just start a family. Like, I don't know where these ideas come from. Actually, that's sort of a lie. I do know that this usually comes from colleges and the media. But I don't know where the whole cult-like behavior of dating comes from.
In our society right now.
Now, interestingly enough, Jess, this contestant, did end up with a MAGA voter. And she says it's because he lied during their dating phase, and she ended up being engaged to somebody who, in fact, voted for Trump because he decided to repress that part of his past.
Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of a possible deciphering here. The guy probably doesn't regret that portion of his past. Okay? That woman is clearly just saying that to basically deceive herself into saying, okay, yeah, this guy is good for me. Like, no, that's I can decipher it. I can probably decipher a bit of womanese.
Okay. Hey guys, interrupting today's video to let you know that I've relaunched Patreon this week, and if you want to become a patron to the show, you can. If you already are, thank you so much for supporting the show and everything that I'm doing here. For our relaunch, we do have 3 tiers, one of which is free. So if you want to just not covering on the show, getting into the tea. So consider becoming a patron. You can go to the description down below, click the link, and sign up and support the show. Guys, thank you so much, and back to the video. I do think it's totally fair to leave with this if this is something that is that important to you, if it truly is just an outstanding deal breaker for everything that you're gonna do on the dating scene. I myself, if I was dating, luckily I'm not, but in the oven, we are off the scene, I would be leading with the fact that I lean conservatively, and I'd be hoping to find somebody who shares those values. I don't think wanting shared...
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't lead with my politics. I'm not going to if I'm in the dating scene, I'm not going to lead with my politics. Most I'm going to lead with is my faith. And people will be able to decipher exactly what my faith is pretty easily. And they'll probably... And that's probably what is going to lead to them playing armchair decipherer and finding out that I'm actually a conservative. Because I lean towards conservatism pretty hard. Okay? But that's because of my biblical beliefs. And most Christians who are trying to follow the Bible do lean conservative. May not like it, but that's how it is. That's how it is.
Values is necessarily a problem. I think the deeper implication that people who don't share your values are evil individuals is something that is far more of an issue than leading with who you voted for and wanting the same from the partner that you're with. But there are other videos like this. Here's one that says, me on a first date immediately discussing politics.
Yeah, man. Why? Why do you want to discuss politics on the first date? Just why? You can't discuss any nostalgia shows or anything? Is the only thing you think is politics 24/7?
It says, did you vote for Kamala or what? Hashtag NYC dating. Another woman writes here, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're dating a MAGA, you are just as bad as them. I don't care if you're trying to fix them because 9 times out of 10, they can't be fixed. Dating a MAGA means you are fine with their views. So
I love how they like to broad brush like this. I really do. Because they like it to say how I am... I mean, they like to broad brush that MAGA is racist. They aren't. The majority of MAGA people are not racist. In fact, racism, I think, is starting to decline as we're seeing more and more insanity from the left-leaning crowd. And, oh, by the way, very recently, I know that the leftist I had debated about a couple months ago rejoined the server that I'm in, and I go, okay, cool. Sorry, I know. Okay, cool, whatever. Oh, man. I doubt me and him are going to interact that much. I'm especially with me uploading these videos and sharing it in the server. The guy's probably going to leave. Probably gonna leave again because I'm actually openly MAGA on my YouTube channel, and I share it in I share my channel in the server.
So a much stronger opinion on the other end of this, that not only is it wrong for the man to have supported Donald Trump in whatever ways he did and however many times he voted for them, but if you are dating that man, then you are also problematic, even if your politics are nowhere near in the same realm as his politics. Now, other women are posting online that they have dated MAGA conservatives, but they're now looking at leftist boyfriends because they've dragged that man from the right to the left. At least that is what that man is telling them. So I guess in dating the man. It has softened their political takes and moved them towards the path of empathy for others, and they're now voting left in a sort of Kamala Harris style. But anyways, all this to say, this is an ever-growing trend that I'm seeing online as politics begins to infiltrate every single part of our lives. And we knew for the most part that it was going to enter the dating sphere. It has been in the dating sphere for a long time. I think
Yeah, it has been. And yeah, I think this is pretty sad. Pretty sad.
those people are trying to date others with similar values. I don't think it means you have to always vote in the same direction or you always have to agree on everything politically, but that seems to be where most people are at. But now it's become an extremely divisive topic in politics. And we're seeing it now in schools, we're seeing it at work. It makes total sense to be seeing this in dating and with young women and how particularly left-leaning they are. It's no surprise to me that we're getting super, super divisive conversations about dating men who may have voted for Donald Trump and trying to find that out right out of the gate on a first date. So to those ladies, sure, find out if somebody shares your values, find out if they voted for who you wanted them to vote for or whatever.
Yeah, like I said, politics is secondary to me. Politics is secondary. My stance is they have to follow the Bible. That's it. That's it. Just follow the Bible. If that leads to being a conservative, okay, cool. If that does it for you, okay, cool. it doesn't matter. What matters is if you're trying to follow the Bible.
Maybe take into account that we can do this in much softer ways where we don't have to air people out on the internet. We don't have to call them evil for who they voted for because they're not evil for who they voted for. I think we could walk that line a little better than you're walking it right now. Leave space for the idea that you might like somebody who didn't vote for the person you wanted them to vote for. A lot of these women are leading these conversations and telling these stories because they had fantastic first, second, third dates with these men where politics never came up, and they found that they were sharing values in their dates regardless of politics. They found that they wanted similar things out of lives. They had similar occupations, they had similar hobbies, or at least lifestyles that could mesh really well with one another. And then they're allowing the fact that this individual voted for somebody who they don't like to completely cloud every bit of goodness that they had.
Okay, so we need to start going back to being politically indifferent. At least when it comes to dating, we need to be politically indifferent. Okay, we need to go back to political indifference within dating.
In the dating prior, you might be a woman who ends up liking, loving, ending up with a conservative, and that can be okay. Don't let society's general temperature right now towards these things completely cloud your judgment in a way that stops you from experiencing, I don't know, true love. Maybe your super strong opinions about who somebody voted for are a little too strong. And to the men who are going out on dates and not being honest about who they voted for or beating around the bush, oh my gosh, that's probably the least masculine thing you could possibly do. And if you—
That's exactly what I said. Oh my gosh, me and Amala are on the same wavelength. And I'm going to quote Nuxador here: how to radicalize a woman the fastest way possible is to marry them and get them pregnant. That is the easiest way to radicalize a woman.
If you voted for Trump and you still support him, say you voted for him and you still support him. If you voted for him and you don't support him anymore, say you voted for him and you don't support him anymore, and be honest and straightforward about that. If she doesn't like it and she doesn't want to be on a date with you, now that she's been informed of that reality, let it go. And if she wants to be on a date with you and she wants to continue, your best chance at having that be the result is being honest. And if you're just trying to get laid, I guess lying gets you there, but ew. Gross. Don't do it. Be honest. I think you can still figure it out being honest. Because apparently a lot of these left-leaning women already like you guys a lot before you get to the Trump part. So I'm sure if you go back out there, you'll probably be...
Yeah, like I said, if they ask who I voted for, I'm going to say, okay, I voted for Trump. I just say, I voted for Trump, so what? Because it's not my primary identity. MAGA is not my primary identity. Okay, here's my primary identity. I'm going to take off the MAGA hat. Right here, the cross and the American flag. That's my primary identity. I'm a Christian American. That's it. Whether or not I voted for Trump, it doesn't matter. I'm a Christian American.
Be able to find one who likes you and also, maybe doesn't mind who you voted for, or better yet, shares your values and maybe voted for the same person, and you guys can bond over that. With that being said, guys, those are my thoughts on this current dating hellscape and how politics is influencing what young women and men are doing out there on the dating scene. I'd love to hear your thoughts. The men, the women who are listening right now, let me know your experiences, and especially the men. I want to know if you've gone through something like this, how you handled it, if your friends are going through things like this, what they're doing. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, do get out and do so respectfully. I encourage healthy debates on this channel. And if you like this...
Okay, so, final thoughts. Final thoughts. I still hold that we need to be politically indifferent in dating, okay? We need to take politics out of it. And we need to acknowledge that there may be a point from the opposite side. There may not be. Whether or not you believe the same way I do, I don't care. I really, really do not care. And you can debate in the comments. I'm not averse to debates. I do ask we be respectful, though. And let me just get what constitutes as disrespectful debate. Okay, let's see here. Luckily, I have it pinned. These are examples of disrespectful debates. Right down here. These are not simple disagreements. So, I've displayed exactly how a disrespectful debate goes. Just try to act in good faith. Try to have a inquisitive mind, and try to ask how I came to we got to these conclusions. Don't just automatically assume the worst possible scenario, because you may actually find that we have a lot more in common than you think. And some people may go, you're just playing Charlie Kirk. I'll go, yeah. Charlie Kirk was an awesome brother in Christ. I'm alright with being compared to him. I don't think I'm nowhere near as a Christ-centered as he was. But I do like to think I'm at that point. But either way, this was a interesting video. I want you guys to hash it out in the comments. Give this video a like and give me a subscription if you like what I'm saying here. So guys, I am done. Take care and have a great weekend. Later. Peace.